You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table, the podcast where no subject is too taboo to discuss. Now, please welcome your hosts, Andy Barker and Drew Del Pree. What's up? What's up, everybody? Let me get to where you can see the camera here. As you can see, I'm solo tonight. Yep, flying solo tonight. That's fine. It's cool. Whatever. Lou has some things he's got to take care of, so we don't judge too harsh on that. But that's okay. We can handle it. I can hold down the fort for you. I've got a few things I'll be multitasking throughout the show, but that's okay. Yeah, don't judge. Anyway, it's Friday, so that's a good thing, right? Those of you that are off for the weekend, hopefully you've got a great start to your weekend already. By the way, since I am by myself tonight, feel free to call the show. Call the show 314-744-9263. That's right, 314-744-9263 or 314-789-0449. Either number will get you through, and we'll just talk about whatever you want to talk about at the moment. Anyway, let's move on in to some stories that I found for you. Actually, I need to turn on the light here because my old blind behind can't see it very well. So we had a show set up for you guys that we were going to talk about, of all things, paranormal experiences, stories, whatever the case may be, whether you believe, whether you don't believe, doesn't matter. That's what we're going to talk about. Well, since Lou is not able to make it tonight, we will forego that show for next week. The reason being is because those of you that don't know, Lou was actually on the USS Constitution, which is the oldest commissioned warship in the United States Navy. It is a sail ship. And yes, it is still commissioned. But he was stationed there for a couple years, and boy, he's got some good stories for you. So be sure to tune in next week for that one. And I've got some stories too, and we can talk about, again, are these real? Are they not real? Do you believe? Do you don't believe? Whatever. Anyway, next week. So, look out, guys. This next story is what I like to call a distraction alert. I think things are getting a little bit too heated between, I don't know, the whole Hunter Biden scandal, whatever. So this story came out on Wednesday, and it was from CNN. Go figure. And it was written by Brenda Goodman. I hope I'm getting her name right. I hope I spelled it right, said it right. Anyway, the big thing is that there's a new variant of COVID out there, and it's the EG5 variant. I don't know what EG is standing for. Truth be told, I don't even care at this point. But here, let me read you a few of the highlights that I took from the story. So nationally, EG5 is causing about 17%. 17% of new COVID cases in the country, compared with, wait for it, 16% for the next most common lineage. Now, we're talking a whopping 1%. Why is this news? Why? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because they lost control of the masses and they want to get it back. Anyway, Dr. David H.P. for high-priced Ho has been testing these variants in his lab at Columbia University to see how resistant they have become to the antibodies we have to defend against them. Now, I think they even said, mentioning the shots in there, and that's what I'm going to call it, because I'm not going to call it a vaccine, because it's not a vaccine. Anyway, he was quoted as saying both are only slightly more resistant to neutralizing antibodies in serum of infected and vaccinated persons. Ho, I just like saying Ho. It's pretty funny. Ho, a professor of microbiology and immunology, said to CNN in an email. Again, why I'm failing miserably to understand why this is news. I just don't get it. Whatever. Is what it is, I guess. What are you going to do? Anyway, moving right along, clinically, he said, these variants don't seem to be causing different or more severe symptoms than the viruses that came before them. Then, okay, so my question is, why are we even talking about this then? Why is this a story? This is nonsense. This is nothing. This is no news. This is garbage is what this is. This was, hey, by the way, Ms. Goodman, you owe me a story and I need it by close of business. That's what this is. The World Health Organization, the WHO, because it's a credible organization. No. They have upgraded their status on Wednesday from a variant under monitoring to a variant of you know what? I can't. This is crazy. They're monitoring from a variant. What did they say? A variant of interest. They're under monitoring to a variant of interest. Whatever. That's all. Whatever. Epidemiologists think human behavior is the engine for this uptick. They point to things like record heat, driving more people indoors for air conditioning, which helps the virus spread. These people can't make up their freaking minds. I almost blew it. They can't make up their minds. It's either stay home or don't stay home. Now it's the heat and then the air conditions I can't with that story anymore. Anyway, I was kind of perusing the old YouTube a couple days ago, and I came across a very interesting, painfully so, interview between Vivek Ramaswamy, I believe is how you pronounce his name, and Charlemagne, the self-professed God. I think that's what he is. He's got a radio show. I think it's in New York. And he had a guest on there who was just really, in my opinion, she's just straight up racist. She would not let Vivek answer basically any questions. And then the answers that he gave, she basically called him a racist. And she gave this horrible example about how when she was in, I don't know, the 6th grade, I think it was, and she was a leader because somebody was snatching papers from kids' hands and she went to the principal and they got it stopped. Oh, I'm sorry. And she's an Air Force veteran. Now, she didn't make clear how long she was in the Air Force or what she even did, but I have a sneaky suspicion she was I doubt for one she ever deployed. And if she did, she was probably a FOBIT. Pretty sure of it. I would bet my paycheck on it. Oh wait, I'm retired. Anyway, so if you guys have seen that, let me see if I can find that for you real quick. If you've seen it, it was quite interesting, painfully so. Again, like I said, it was horrid. Oh, let's not. I guess I won't do that. Technical difficulties once again, but we're back. Anyway, so I guess I won't find that for you. But it was just, if it wasn't so pathetic and so sad, it would have been comical. Now, I don't know about this Vivek guy, man. The more I listen to him speak, the more he's kind of growing on me a little bit. And I know we have many people out there that are, what are they, forever Trumpers or whatever. And I'm going to tell you right now, I like what he did when he was in office. I really didn't like listening to him, listen to his comments. But again, my point is that I don't have to like you as a person, as a president, as long as you're getting the job done. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing with the best interest of the country in mind. Okay, whatever. There's nothing that says I have to like anybody, but you can't deny the good things that he did for the country. With that being said, I personally feel I don't want him to run because it's a distraction. It's a huge distraction. And if he wins, which he probably would if he runs, if he's not in jail, it'll be 4 more years of nothing getting done because all the Democrats care about is getting him out of office and discrediting him. And, oh, you were put there by the people to, have the people's interests at heart or in mind. And you're failing your job because you're more worried about your hate for one person. It's ridiculous, but I don't know. What are you going to do, man? Yeah, it's harsh. So I want to talk about the tragedy in Hawaii. If you've ever been there, I haven't seen. Well, obviously I'm not there, but I've seen some of the pictures, and it's heartbreaking, man. There's at least 55 dead on the island of Maui. Still 1,000 missing. They're saying that bodies were lying in the ocean just to escape the fires, and I have a feeling that when we find out later on that somebody probably started that fire. I don't know if that word is already out yet or not, but it's just heartbreaking, man. It looks like a no kidding battle zone there. It looks like a lot of what Ukraine and Russia is starting to look like now. But man, it's my heart goes out for those people. And when you're on an island like that, man, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to run. It's kind of like being on a submarine. If a fire breaks out on a submarine, there's nowhere to go. You fight the fire and rely on your training, and hopefully everything gets okay. But I know I said we're not going to talk paranormal stuff tonight, but I just wanted to bring up one thing. I'm looking at the news and all these reports of UFOs lately, and the government coming out and pseudo admitting to it, and as an intellectual, I try to sit back and think, you know what, it's kind of insane to think that we're the only living life in the universe. It's so vast and so huge. But anyway, that's not where I'm going with this. I'm wondering, and if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was a betting man, I would say that this is another big distraction. But what concerns me the most is, what is it a distraction from? Something big's about to come down, I'm thinking, because everybody's worried about this UFO stuff over here. And, well, somebody, I'm not saying who, whether it's Democratic or Republican or, well, shoot, let's be honest, they're starting to become a uniparty now at this point. But something's about to go down, just in my opinion. And here's a story that's saying Michelle Obama might run. So my question is, if Michelle Obama runs, does that mean, well, I know there's a strike right now in Hollywood, but does that mean we're not going to see any movies from Danny Glover? You can read into that comment however you want to. Anyway, I'm sure I'll piss off just about everybody with that. LGBTQRS, whatever, Black Lives Matter. I don't know. Youth for Democrat. Who knows? Anyway, but yeah. So it looks like she's thinking about it. I think I don't know. I think if she ran, she'd have a really good shot. Which leaves the question. I think she could beat Trump. I don't think she could beat DeSantis. I don't think she could beat even Vivek, whatever his name is. Not so sure. Anyway, it would be interesting. Again, it would go back to what we were kind of talking about earlier, is how it would just turn into a giant popularity contest and not who's the best qualified. Because honestly, I don't believe she's the best qualified. But then again, it depends on who she's running against. But clearly, obviously, there are many other options in the Democratic Party that would be a better fit than her. And I don't know. Well, I won't even say that. I'll just keep that to myself. But anyway, so I'd love to know your thoughts on that. If you're watching this now, which nobody is, great. That's cool. But if you're listening to it, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you want to send us a comment, you can get on our Facebook page, Not Podcast on Facebook, or you can send me an email at andy.not.podcast@gmail.com. Yeah. So Michelle O, it's a possibility. It's a very great possibility. I would not be surprised in the least. So now it looks like Beijing detains a worker suspected of spying for the CIA. Big surprise. Ladies and gentlemen, we are dangerously close to going to war with China. Whether we initiate or it's initiated upon us. I'm telling you, look, I hate to sound like one of them damn right-wing nut jobs, but Biden's policies are horrible. Everyone has walked all over us on the world stage and really don't care to argue that point. Whether you agree or disagree, it's facts. We are a joke on the world stage, and if we're not careful, look, we just got out of a 20-year-long war, and now, whether you choose to admit or not, we are back into another conflict. Maybe not directly, but most definitely indirectly with Ukraine and Russia. And if we're not careful, we're gonna be fighting some Chinese folks, which is that's not gonna be pretty. But I don't know about you. I'm pretty much sick and tired of all the wars and all that crap. And why the hell are we giving money to Ukraine anyway, man? And we're not just giving a little money. We're giving a lot of money. Let's talk about Bidenomics, since he brought it up. It's doing so great. I mean, I can't believe how well his program's working. I mean, I'm shocked. I went to the gas pump today and holy smokes, almost $4 a gallon in Missouri. Are you kidding me? What the hell is going on here? Bidenomics, give me a break. For those that are listening to mainstream media and hearing all the talk about the economy is it's getting better and it's doing so well under Biden, I would like to smoke some of what y'all are smoking, because I don't see it. I don't see it at all. In fact, prices haven't dropped at all. Prices are increasing once again. I don't know, man. It's all spin. Believe what you will, because we've become such a tribal society that I'm not going to convince you on my opinion, just like you're not going to convince me on yours. It is what it is, man. I don't know. Anyway, I can't keep this up for an hour, y'all. I sure can't. This is going to be a very short podcast tonight. Lou was talking about calling in maybe a little bit later, and if he does, great. He can throw me a life ring and save my drowning ass, because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm drowning. I sure as hell can't keep this up for an hour. Speaking of Bidenomics, here's an article that says Biden asked for $20 billion more dollars as Ukraine counteroffensive sputters. Let's see, $20.6 billion. Why? Why don't you, I'll tell you what, Joe, why don't you give him some of that money that you got from China? You and your son there, you can give money that you got from China. I will say, though, if Trump does get back in office, the one thing that he was 100% was comedic gold. Are you kidding me? I like how he sometimes whispers, China. I don't know. His whole mannerisms, he does have some pretty funny one-liners. albeit inappropriate for a man in his position. But whatever. We could talk about that day or night. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I'm just annoyed with it. Just do the job, man. If he wouldn't have run his mouth so much, I don't think the Democrats would have went after him the way that they did. But I don't know. It's funny. Let's see. So it looks like this. It's not just for Ukraine, but the majority of it is. Let's see. In a letter to lawmakers, the White House Office of Management and Budget asked for $13 billion in new military aid and $8.5 billion in additional economic, humanitarian, and security assistance for Ukraine and other countries affected by the war. The funding request also includes other forms of assistance for Ukraine. Well, I'd like to know what. It doesn't tell me what. I'm really curious on what we're just throwing our money away on. The White House also is seeking more than $12 billion for disaster relief and other emergency domestic funds, including hurricanes, as well as tens of millions of dollars to boost pay for firefighters on the front lines of the wildfires that have hit many parts of the country. In total, Biden is asking Congress for about $40 billion in new spending. Man, where's that money coming from? You know what I mean? It's coming from you and me. It's coming from legal, law-abiding taxpayers. Oh, did I go down another road? Did I say legal as opposed to illegal? As in aliens? Yeah, I guess I did, didn't I? That's all right. Oh, anyway. Yeah, what? Biden. I don't know. I saw that his approval rating is around, 40%, which is, I believe, the lowest in the last, probably the last 3 or 4 presidents for sure. This guy's a clown, man. And you know what? Here's the sad part is I actually feel sorry for him as a person. He's clearly going through some health issues, and the way he's being paraded around by everybody like a puppet is just, it's so pathetic and so sad. As a person, I feel bad for him. But then again, like he likes to say he's been in politics for over 40 years. So he's got a lot of karma coming to him. That's all I'm going to say. But it is sad. But brings up my point. I believe, and I talked about this a week or two ago, that there should be age limits, caps placed on our public servants. If you have to have a minimum age requirement to even get into it, you should have on the opposite end, another age requirement that says, all right, thanks for your time, thanks for your service, see you later. As well as term limits. I feel that we should get away from the professional politician and go back to citizen politicians. But you know what? Who the hell am I? That and $1.50 will get me a cup of coffee somewhere. But anyway, that's crazy. More money. Don't know where it's coming from. Whatever. So I don't know if you guys follow MMA or not, but the two rich crybabies, children, if you will, Elon Musk and what's the other dude's name? Zuckerberg from Facebook. They were supposed to fight in an MMA match. Well, apparently Musk is now trying to weasel his way out of it, from what it sounds like. Apparently he has to have neck surgery. And if that's true, I get it. Trust me, I've got 3 herniated discs in my neck right now that cause me a lot of pain and whatnot. But, it looks like Elon Musk's proposed cage fight with Mark Zuckerberg has been put at risk by an old neck injury he suffered in a skiing accident. Oh, his father told the U.S. Sun. The Tesla tycoon, 52, revealed on Monday that he may require surgery and is planning to receive an MRI of his neck and upper back. I'm looking at recent pictures of him, and he's still looking kind of. He's still, well, he looks like he's in okay shape, but he's probably wanting to get a little more training in. I bet that's what I'm thinking. Because boy, that's some big bragging rights right there. You know, Facebook, all the crap that he's talked and done, and it's put up or shut up time now. So maybe that's it. I don't know, but holy smokes! Look at this story here. Missing 14-year-old found on base. Marine charged with sexual assault of 14-year-old girl found at Camp Pendleton. Man, what the hell is going on out there? Military prosecutors have charged a Marine with sexual assault of a minor after a 14-year-old girl was found in June in the barracks of Camp Pendleton, officials said. So I want to know why she wasn't found sooner. You know good and well that Marines knew that she was there. Somebody knew. Many somebodies knew. The teen girl was discovered June 28 on the military base, more than 2 weeks after she went missing from her Spring Valley home. Relatives of the unidentified minor told the Times that they suspect she had been sold to the Marine for sex, and said they were concerned officials were trying to cover up the incident. Wow. That's I'm not surprised if that's the case, but it's a pretty heavy accusation to level, saying that officials were trying to cover it up. And if so, I'd like to know what your proof is, vice what your emotions are telling you. Wow. Now, there has been instances in the past where there's been a lot of gang activity on Camp Pendleton, and as well as some sex trafficking. If you've ever been out there, it's a huge base, man. It's like it spans over many miles. It's just enormous. So for someone to come out and say, well, the base commander is not doing a very good job. I mean, it is so spread out. It's damn near impossible. I won't say impossible, but it's just a massive base land-wise. Let's see. On Friday, Camp Pendleton officials announced that a Marine has been charged by military prosecutors with sexual assault of a minor, but they declined to identify the suspect. Marine officials were not immediately available to say what prison time the Marine faced if convicted. So he's already been convicted. As usual, in the media, he's already been tried and convicted. Don't even know the dude's name, and you've already got him sentenced to death. He's guilty. Throw away the key. Way to go, media. The Marine also faces an unrelated charge of violating liberty restriction. Meaning he failed to follow a rule or order about his time off. For example, being limited from leaving an area or returning to base or barracks by a certain time. So this dude was in trouble already. He'd already got in trouble, basically, and he'd been put on restriction. So restriction is pretty much like you would think it is with your children. You put them on restriction, right? You're grounded, essentially. That's what's going on here. So for grown-up Marines, or children Marine, however you want to put it, they're restricted basically to the base and a lot of times to their command area. So, and usually when you're on restriction, you get assigned what's called extra duty. So shit jobs. Oh, I just blew it. Crap jobs that you have to go out and just do a bunch of meaningless, stupid crap because you got in trouble, and that's your punishment. So that's what they're saying about being on violating liberty restriction. It's just funny to me. So August 17th, preliminary hearing has been scheduled. A spokesperson for Camp Pendleton said more details regarding the charges could not be released. Officials said that Marine's identity would not be released unless the case was referred to a court-martial after the preliminary hearing. Oh, it's almost assuredly going to court-martial. So the commanding officer has the right to basically either investigate and try, if you will, the accused at what's called a captain's mast, or they can say, you know what, I don't want to touch that at all, drop back and punt, and just refer it automatically to courts martial. And I'm guarantee that's what's going to happen here. Cassandra Perez, the girl's aunt, alleged in a previous interview with the Times that her niece was raped on the base and has criticized how military officials handled the case. In a statement Friday, Perez said she and her family were hoping for full accountability and transparency in the case. If the defense tries to settle, the family will not accept the Marine's plea deal unless he takes a maximum sentence, is dishonorably discharged, and registers as a sex offender, she said. Perez said she also wanted military officials to address what she said was mishandling of the case. We want full transparency, accountability, and justice, she said. Well, so again, what I don't understand why she's saying that they mishandled the case, unless present some evidence, you know. And I know it's in that time when your loved one is going through that much pain, it's hard to think logically. Emotions are running high and heavy, so I understand the lashing out. But those are big accusations, and you can't just, I mean, you're going to look silly if you don't have some sort of proof, even if not proof, but what suspicion do you have and why? Vice, well, you know, they just didn't handle my child's case well. I get where she's coming from on that, but you gotta be smart in these things, because the government's the government. What did I think Ronald Reagan said back in the day? You know, the 8 scariest words or something like that in the English language. I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Something like that. So, and maybe they did. I don't know. In a previous interview, Perez said military police questioned her underage niece without a guardian present and before notifying her guardian that she had been found. She said investigators suggested her niece had been communicating with the Marine and alleged he was her boyfriend, which she has said is false. She doesn't even know the Marine's name, she said. So, 14, you know, it's horrible what happened to her. But, again, she's not being 100% truthful for a lot of reasons, and a lot of almost valid reasons. She's scared, embarrassed, doesn't want to get any more trouble, doesn't want to get any more trouble with her family. I get it, but as always, the truth will come out. Oh, here's one. Neo-Nazis using climate disasters to recruit new members. Interesting. Neo-Nazis. Oh, it's a Vice article, too. All right. So, experts have been sounding the alarm that the far right are exploiting climate change and natural disasters. Now, wait a minute. I thought climate change was a liberal thing, a democratic thing. Oh, now it's the far right exploiting. Oh, because the Democratic Party didn't already exploit it. When a historic storm rolled through central Vermont last month, drowning its capital, Montpelier, and its surrounding communities in waist-high floodwaters, one group of men saw a moment of opportunity. Don't you hate that guy on YouTube, how he talks like that? The men, who called themselves PINE, the People's Initiative of New England, responded to the aftermath to assist cleanup efforts, clear debris from the streets and homes, and pass out bottled water. Holy crap! That's horrible! How dare they do that? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous. How dare they? Help out their community? Clean up? Give water? Man. PINE describes itself as grassroots effort founded to advocate for the advance, advocate for and advance the interests of New Englanders, which sounds innocuous enough, and that's by design. But PINE is a new front for the neo-Nazi street gang NSC 131. Well, I've never even heard of them. which formed in 2019 and has chapters across New England. While NSC 131 brazenly tours Nazi symbols and throws up Hitler salutes during public appearances, Pine is intended as a softer, more socially acceptable mask. Oh, kind of like the mask you idiots are still wearing in your cars, right? The goal of this is for NSC 131 to broaden their appeal, especially to those who agree with their messaging, but may not want to publicly affiliate with an explicitly neo-Nazi organization. In a recently released manifesto, first reported by Rolling Stone, Pine calls for a New England to secede from the U.S. and establish a white ethno-state, and they think they can do that by drumming up local support through activism and community outreach. Well, you know what? Bye. Go. Get out. You know what? I ain't got no use for you. In a recently released manifesto, I just read that. Hence their flood relief efforts. Extremists around the world typically seek to exploit moments of instability or chaos for their own gain, and that's particularly true in the aftermath of natural disasters. Weak or muddled government responses to hurricanes, flooding, or wildfires have previously created windows of opportunity for extremists to position themselves as reliable, trusted sources of aid and show government agencies to be useless in a moment of crisis. Well, a 5-year-old can do that. A 5-year-old can prove the government agency is useless. And by ingratiating themselves in impacted communities, extremists are able to reach into a larger pool of prospective recruits. Now, here's I want to know, and hasn't said it at least so far. When they're going into these communities, are they only helping white people? Are they only bringing water to white people? Are they only clearing debris in white people's places, homes, businesses, etc.? Because if not, I don't think this article really has a leg to stand on. Yeah, they may have some extremist beliefs, but Jesus, look at cutting off. Never mind. I'm not even going there tonight. I'm just saying there's a lot of extremist beliefs on both sides. Good question, though. Let's see if they answer it in here. This is a trend that experts say they expect to see more of in the coming years. As the effects of climate change grow more severe, communities that have been destabilized by natural disasters may increasingly find themselves leaning on wolves in sheep's clothing. Extremists dressed up as good Samaritans. Well, if they're dressed up as good Samaritans and they're doing good deeds and they're helping an entire community, doesn't that really make them good Samaritans? A paper published last year by the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism explored the various ways that extremists and terrorists exploit climate change and disasters for their own gain. One example they offer is how in the aftermath of a disaster, those actors take advantage of perceptions that the government has been ineffective in their response. Perceptions, more like reality. And use them to foster radicalization narratives of alienation and abandonment. They also then try to fill in this gap by responding to the challenges posed by climate change to enhance their local authority. Militias like the Oath Keepers have historically pounced on any opportunity they can to expose weaknesses in federal agencies like FEMA, which is a go-to source of anti-government conspiracy theories. Members of the group, including their founder, Stuart Rhodes, who was recently convicted of seditious conspiracy for his role in the January 6th riot, responded to calls for volunteers in the aftermath of Category 4 Hurricane Harvey in 2017. I'd like to... I don't know much about this dude here, Stuart Rhodes. I'd like to read up a little bit more on that. He's probably not a very nice guy. A recent joint report by Grist and Huffington Post looked at Oath Keepers and other malicious exploitation of climate disasters over the years. Oath Keepers also traveled to Florida and Puerto Rico in 2017 following hurricanes and returned to Florida the following year after Hurricane Michael. Oath Keeper leadership also urged their members to travel to Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee in 2021 after a string of catastrophic tornadoes moved through the region, according to Grist and Huffington Post. interesting. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk some more about neo-Nazis and climate change. Armed extremists galvanized by conspiracy theories about Antifa set up roadblocks in 2020 and interrogated people fleeing wildfires in Oregon. And last year, an anti-government group called Echo Company of the California State Militia's 2nd Regiment showed up with military-style trucks and fatigues. Oh my God. That's so scary. I'm so scared right now. I don't know what to do. Oh, this is horrible. I can't believe they did this. They provided hot breakfast to people who had been evacuated from their homes. What a bunch of assholes. Can you believe that? How dare they do something like that? Along with breakfast, members of the militia passed out business cards with QR codes and directions of how to join their organization, NBC reported. Well, never mind. As for Pine, they shared images of their activism on their Gab and Telegram channels. I don't even know what that is. Man, I'm so behind the times on this crap. Making sure to note they also distributed their propaganda in the process. Montpelier is a short distance from me, responded one person. Vermont is so far left, I too often assume there are no like-minded people. Good to see this. Oh, interesting. So, sounds like they've got some support up there. Very, very interesting. I agree with the commenter there. Vermont, holy smokes, man. The whole of New England is so ridiculously left. You know what? See, I'm guilty of it too now. I'm guilty of falling into that tribalism a little bit. Anyway. I don't really consider myself, I don't consider myself Democrat. I don't really consider myself Republican. I'm more conservative. Independent, I think, is probably the best way. I need to hear what you got to say. And if what you got to say is good and I like it, I can get behind that. But I can't just, I just can't follow blindly. Let's see. Scientists may be on the brink of discovering a 5th force of nature. What do you think it is? I don't know. Let's see. The tantalizing theory that a 5th force of nature could exist has been given a boost thanks to unexpected wobbling by a subatomic particle, physicists have revealed. I hope I don't fall asleep during reading this. According to current understanding, there are 4 fundamental forces in nature, 3 of which, the electromagnetic force and the strong and weak nuclear forces, are explained by the standard model of particle physics. Oh yeah, everybody knows that, right? Yeah. However, the model does not explain the other known fundamental force, gravity, or dark matter, a strange and mysterious substance thought to make up about 27% of the universe. I'm curious how they come up with that number. If they don't know how big the universe is. Anyway. Now researchers have said there could be another 5th fundamental force of nature. Dr. Mitesh Patel from Imperial College London said, "We're talking about a 5th force because we can't necessarily explain the behavior in these experiments with the 4 we know about." Okay. The data comes from experiments at the Fermilab U.S. Particle Accelerator Facility, which explored how subatomic particles called muons, similar to electrons but about 200 times heavier, move in a magnetic field. All right. Wow. This is riveting. Yep. So riveting that I'm done. Can't do it. Can't do it anymore. Forget about it. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you guys about. So, our buddy Todd Showalter, who was on our first episode coming back, he has a new radio show out, and it's called The Right Mind with Todd Showalter, and it's on a local radio station here, News Talk STL, but you can download and listen to it live. They have both a website and an app that you can get. And so his show's every Saturday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I have been fortunate enough to been asked to be a guest on his show. And it looks like I may have a reoccurring part in the show, which I hope I do, because it's a lot of fun. Check it out again. News Talk STL. You can find their just look them up on Google. You can find their website. You can find where you can listen to it at, and it's fun. It's there's a lot of levity thrown into the show, and that's what I'll say. Hour long. Check it out. It's well worth it. What else you got to do on Saturday at 5 p.m. anyway? You know, probably pre-flight and to do. Never mind. But anyway, and yeah, I'm excited for him. It's so far it's doing well. He's got 3 episodes out so far. Well, I take that back. Tomorrow will be the 3rd episode, so be sure to check it out. Let me know what you think. Send me an email. You can comment in the Facebook page, whatever. And yeah, just hook a brother up and let me know. You know what that means? That is our Veterans Helping Veterans segment. That's right. So, in this segment of Veterans Helping Veterans, I would like to highlight the Missouri Vets Outdoors. So, I don't know any of these guys personally, but I've joined the group on Facebook, been following them for a while, and their focus is on veteran mental health and suicide prevention by ways of camaraderie-ship and outdoorsmanship. They do a lot of hunts. They put together a lot of different activities for veterans, and all you have to do is reach out to them on Facebook. Once again, they're another nonprofit. As a matter of fact, all of the organizations that we will be highlighting will be nonprofit. The last thing I want to see is anybody, I won't mention any names, but making a dime off of veterans. That really pisses me off. But what are you going to do? But anyway, check them out. You can check them out on Facebook. They have webpage. Or on Instagram, I believe, Twitter, all the social media platforms. They do good things for great people, and which makes them great people in the same. Anyway, folks, look at that. We have about 12 minutes left in the show, and I just don't think I can make it. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it up and say goodbye. But thank you. If you are listening for the first time, thank you. And I hope you come back, and we'll have a more entertaining show next week when we have Lou back and we talk about the paranormal, spooky stuff. And yeah, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.